Installing MariaDB. In this module, we're going to be installing MariaDB on our server. We're going to install the prerequisites, add a repository, and then build and install it on our server. And then we're going to do some security procedures and verify that it works. As I mentioned, MariaDB is a drop-in replacement for SQL. You'll need to add some prerequisites in order to install this version of MariaDB. Type in sudo apt-get install python-software-properties. Then type in sudo apt-get install software-properties-common. Next, you'll need to add the repository. Type in the following and press enter. And now we'll add the repository. And now we want to update the system again. And now we'll want to install the server and the client. So we'll type in sudo apt-get install MariaDB-server and MariaDB-client. And now you'll see a screen like this that will ask you to set your root password. And then repeat it. And now we want to check the version of MariaDB to verify it's been installed. You can do that by typing in MySQL-v, and it shows the version number. Now, one thing to note, we didn't type in MariaDB/v. That's because MariaDB is a drop-in replacement, so all the commands that worked on MySQL will work on MariaDB. That's why it's such an interesting and awesome upgrade. And now you can verify your root login by typing in the following: MySQL-u root-p. And type in your root password. And it looks like we're logged in. Type in show databases, and this is what will come up. This will show you the initial databases that were installed on the server. And then you can type in exit to log out. Now we're going to add some additional security settings to our installation. We do this by typing in sudo user bin MySQL secure installation. And you'll enter your root password. Now here you'll be asked if you want to change the root password. We'll ask if you want to remove anonymous users. We'll select yes. Now here we can disallow root login remotely. This means if you're not on the server, you can log in as root. I'm going to go ahead and disable that because I don't need to log in as root on any other server other than the local one. I don't want to log in from my desktop as root because that might be a security compromise. Here you can remove the test database and access to it. I'm going to select yes. And now we can reload our privilege tables. And this just does some rudimentary basic things to secure up the installation, and I highly recommend doing it every time you install MySQL or MariaDB. Now, by default, the server will only be available internally, which means you can only log in if you're logged into the machine that the server is on. This means the only way to communicate with it is on the server. So to make it accessible from outside the server, you'll need to make a change to my.cnf. So type in sudo nano etc mysql my.cnf. Now here you want to look for bind address and change that. As you can see here, we have bind address set to 127.0.0.1, which is our local address. We want to change that to 0.0.0.0. That way it's available everywhere. What this means is I can log in as the user that I'm going to create from my desktop to access my databases. Here, we want to save and exit. And now we'll need to restart the MySQL MariaDB server. Type in sudo service MySQL restart. You should now be able to connect to your server from the outside. In this module, we installed prerequisites, we added a repository, then we pulled down, built, and installed MariaDB. This is all you need to do to get MariaDB going on your endpoint.